Welcome back to another crazy bingo card prediction. And this time, Sean and I are doing one for the year 2024. So, Sean, it's sort of become a tradition now for the last couple of years where you and I come on here and we kind of think of six crazy things or six predictions that we think may be happening for the coming year.
Yeah, and I will say that considering my position, maybe mine aren't so crazy. Mine aren't like Vince McMahon interviewed by Oprah Winfrey or something, whatever it was that you said that one year. Mine are more rooted in reality and things that I actually believe could happen. But if there's anything that the last couple of years that we have done this has shown, is that I could say some crazy stuff and it could end up happening.
Sean, the last one that we did got noticed by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He saw that clip, the one that I said about Vince McMahon, and freaking gave it a like. Like, what the hell is that? That's wild.
Yeah, good friend of mine, Dwayne. He's responded to me on Twitter multiple times. I'm going to add that to my Twitter bio. Noticed twice by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
People do that, like stan accounts. They'll put like if they were noticed, and then they put like ×2 or how many times they were ever noticed by a certain person. But here's the thing though, Sean, because this has been a crazy year in pro wrestling, I feel like nothing is really off limits. For example, I was thinking about this. Did you think that in the year 2023, freaking Jack Perry and CM Punk getting in a backstage altercation would lead to CM Punk basically being done and over with AEW? Like, think about that.
Yeah, I predicted that on last year's show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You just totally did. And you were like down to the T. Jack Perry at All In. This is exactly what's going to happen.
Yes, that is exactly what I predicted, and I was right once again.
So here's what we're going to do today. Sean and I are going to pick 6 things that we think is going to happen. Now, for those of you who've watched the ones in the past, I tend to go super crazy. Sean, you tend to kind of stay within the lines. And I got to tell you, I've got some crazy ones this year again.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, because I feel like you're going to be one-upping me each time. Mine is very simple, but it's something people have been asking for. I think we're going to see AEW pay-per-views on Max. I think they're going to finally get that streaming deal. I think they're finally going to nail it down. Right now, I feel like their product is a little too much of a financial investment for a lot of people to make for those pay-per-views. And basically for the amount that you're spending on 2 pay-per-views a year, you're probably going to get 7, 8, 9, 10 of them. And I think that it's an important step for AEW because I don't want to say they're stuck in the Stone Ages, but they are a little bit stuck in the wrestling Stone Ages by that regard. Even TNA threw their arms up and said, you know what? We got to get a streaming deal. We got to make these more accessible. Even ROH within AEW has done that, and their stuff is now on Honor Club. So I think that is a very, very important deal. I think it's one that AEW probably could have had before, but I think that they want to do it all together with their TV deal and their pay-per-view deal.
So I love that we're getting started like this because I also have something similar to yours, but just to add on top of it, my prediction is that an AEW program moves to Fox, and the same thing as you, we finally get AEW on a streaming service. And the reason I was thinking about this was, come on, we know pro wrestling in comparison to some other programming is a lot cheaper to do. And then you get 52 weeks of consistent programming each and every single week. So I feel that I literally said this on the Raw post show that I see pro wrestling like a seesaw where things are sometimes, certain companies are on top with all the momentum. Then all of a sudden here comes something else that shifts the game. And I think that if AEW were to get like a deal with Fox, for example, it would be freaking nuts. So for that reason, I'm predicting that this could happen. And we get some sort of streaming service with that. Tubi, shit, I like Tubi, man. They be offering some good stuff on there.
That you do. They just got all the DC movies. My next one is one that I might have predicted last year, and at the time I thought it was a safe bet. Now I feel like it's a safe bet, but maybe not. I don't think Vince is coming back to creative again. He did it again last year. They didn't admit it. He didn't have a conversation with anybody from creative, he would just call in changes to Triple H. He would get the scripts over the weekend. He would make changes, and then they would adjust them. But he didn't talk to talent. He didn't talk to creative himself. It was much more hands off. But listen, when Johnny Gargano isn't on TV for 6-7 months at a time, and certain women aren't getting on TV for 6-7 months at a time, we know the drill. When the OC can't get on TV, we know Vince McMahon does not like Gallows and Anderson. We know what's going on here. We saw the writing on the wall. We'd reported back in February on Fightful that Vince had his hands, his little dirty mitts back in to creative. I think he's out now. I think now that the merger is complete, the TV deal is hopefully almost complete. They also see that not only is the show better under Triple H, financially, the company is way better under Triple H. It's almost like what that CM Punk guy said like 11, 12 years ago in that promo was right, in that Vince McMahon was costing himself money all along. I think he's gone. He's not in creative anymore. I think he's really done. Maybe they give him like one little pacifier for WrestleMania. Here you go, Vince. You can change one finish, any one you want. Like, on Christmas Eve when your family goes, you can pick one present. There you go, Vince. Anything you want. Next thing you know, Roman Reigns isn't going to be losing the title.
Do you think we'll get a Vince McMahon cameo of some sort, like in ring? Do you think we'll get like him taking another stunner, or God forbid Vince McMahon has another match in 2024?
Nope. I think that's long gone. I think that first off, it was a mistake 2 years ago. It's one of the worst matches that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was so bad. Matched only by his own son a year later. Snoop Dogg had to run to the rescue.
My next one is WWE Raw goes to ESPN, and the WWE Network goes to ESPN Plus when the Peacock contract expires. So we've been seeing, of course, a lot of changes in, all of the streaming stuff. So for that reason, I went and took a gamble with ESPN. I almost went with Amazon Prime, but just for the sake of I ended up switching in and I went with ESPN instead. So I'm going to be pissed if it was Amazon Prime, because I almost put Amazon Prime on my predictions. But yeah, I switched it to ESPN.
So the Peacock contract doesn't expire for a few years, but the Amazon aspect of that is very interesting, because it's not like they're just selling a streaming service like ESPN and their cable networks. They want you to get Prime because it's Prime Video, and because you'll go, oh, you know what? I'm going to order a bunch of these products that have free shipping associated with it. And the reality is Amazon now produces a gigantic portion of those. They just produce everything. They've got their own things. So yeah, I think that Amazon is in play. But
what are the chances about ESPN? You think I should have stuck to my Amazon Prime prediction?
I think ESPN's possible. I think it's very possible. But I've actually got a big one. I got a big one.
What is it?
TNA sells.
Oh shit. Okay.
Now, there have been some like little rumblings here and there over the last 5 or 6 months, so to speak. And, people were like, oh, maybe they're freeing up money because they want to cut costs and sell. But then you would hear, oh, they're upping production. Then you hear, oh, well, maybe they're freeing up money for Ospreay or for CM Punk. Well, then they don't get either one of them. They also don't retain Deonna Purrazzo as things stand right now. Then they get the streaming deal with Endeavor. Interesting. Might be a little introduction, because right now TNA has a very, very valuable video library for both AEW and WWE. Now, I don't know how much WWE is particularly interested in acquiring libraries anymore, because the whole point of them acquiring libraries was to launch their network. The point of them launching their own network was to see if pay-per-views would take off there. Then they were like, no, we're just going to license our library and license our pay-per-views. And oh, by the way, we're not going to make documentaries anymore. We'll license those to A&E as well. So I wonder how much the video library actually means to a WWE. For AEW, I look at it and I go, how likely would Tony Khan be to keep running another company? A third one after he's learned all this about ROH? I don't know, but I think that they will be actively shopping by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay, that's a big one. I think that would be crazy. And I feel like here's the thing about TNA wrestling is that they always seem to surprise us. They always seem to try and come up with something new that we didn't expect. Like, for example, we didn't expect for TNA wrestling to be returning in 2024. So with that being said, I'll have some TNA predictions. So I'll go ahead and move it along with that. Which one should I do first? The crazy one or the super crazy one?
The super crazy one.
Okay, the super crazy TNA one. AJ Styles returns to TNA wrestling. Isn't his contract up in 2024?
No, I don't know. I don't think.
I swear I heard that somewhere.
From somewhere less reliable than us.
And if it is, I'm cashing this prediction in right now because we haven't seen much with AJ Styles right now in WWE. And even when he is there, it hasn't been like the world's greatest thing. So for that reason, I think AJ Styles returns to TNA wrestling. I told you, super crazy.
I think that he signed a new contract last year.
All right, well, it's still in there. Hell, maybe we'll get a match. You know what? Screw it. You never know. If it happens, I'm going to celebrate.
Okay. I'll go the opposite of that. MJF stays in AEW. Listen,
I feel that's a good one.
We're approaching January 1st. I'm of the belief. I think he signed a long ass time ago. But I got to give MJF credit. Anybody that asks him, whether it's a wrestler, whether it's his friend, whether it's somebody close to him, he's like, nope, January 1st, 2024. He'll just say it. That there are no reporters that can say verifiably that they have seen any evidence that his contract isn't up on January 1st. And I believe at one point maybe it was, but I think that they've locked him down long ago, or else he wouldn't be heading into, the end of the year as champion, and not only champion, ROH tag champion as well. There are so many hints that they wouldn't do this again. They did it with Cody. I don't think they would run that risk again. I think they've got him locked down. But you know what? I'm here to see what it is that this guy does to make us think that he's not.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting part, but I also agree with you. I think that's going to happen, and I feel like it would be the right thing to go because even though I want to see MJF in WWE someday, I don't know if we'll get the same version of MJF that we're used to in AEW because, in WWE, you obviously got to toe the line a little bit differently. You can't be out there doing the FUs and all of these things and stuff like that. So I don't know. It would be interesting, but here's one, and I'll stick with TNA because this was my lesser crazy one. Jungle Boy Jack Perry wins the TNA World Championship in 2024. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in AEW since everything that went down. We don't know when he's coming back or if he's coming back. You don't think that if the opportunity came, if Jack Perry was a free agent, that TNA, who's trying to get any sort of buzz, wouldn't go and grab him?
What?
Which one was crazier, the AJ Styles one or this one?
That one. Because at least I feel like WWE might be like, fine, TNA, we'll let you borrow AJ for one show. Here you go. Imagine if CM Punk, first off, CM Punk not only is back before Jack Perry, if Jack Perry gets kicked out of AEW, there's no way. They got to capitalize on the heat that Jack Perry is going to have with some people. There's no way, Denise.
Yes, I think it's a possibility. Like I said,
you are high as a kite.
Did you think CM Punk was going to return to WWE? Had one of us predicted that last year in this predictions, we would have laughed at the other person probably.
And listen, last year I would have said there was more of a chance of CM Punk going to WWE than there is this year of Jack Perry going to TNA.
I don't know. If it happens, I'm going to brag.
While we're on that subject, 0 CM Punk fist fights. Now, this is a real crazy one. People in the comments are going to be like, man, I was with the first 4, but that 5th one, just too nuts. I think that the promo that Seth Rollins cut when Punk came back was true. He knows it's his last chance. There's more structure in WWE. And I think that this is sort of the welcome back kind of that he wanted all along. I feel like if WWE would have reached out throughout this process and made a sincere effort to bring him back Punk probably would have been back well sooner than 10 years. But I think this is his real opportunity to clean that slate as best he can. And hear me out. I think by the end of his WWE run, he finds a way to make amends with Jack Perry, the Young Bucks, and Hangman as well. I don't know about Colt, but I think personally that a lot of the forgiveness in which he is receiving right now in WWE could rub off on him, and he might be like, you know what? It sucked that everything went down the way that it did, but I'm where I probably should have been all along anyway.
Okay, well, I think, yeah, it would be bad if there was another backstage fight with CM Punk in WWE because, like Seth Rollins said, this is his last chance with his legacy and everything that he's doing. So, yeah, that would probably not be a great thing. Although it would probably get you a bunch of Fightful Select subscribers, though, Sean, especially if there's some biting
Yes.
involved.
Yes, indeed.
All right, here's another one. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins go to AEW. And I'm not saying this because of CM Punk. I'm saying this because we still really haven't seen how Endeavor is going to handle free agents in WWE. Are they going to pay up? Are they not going to pay up? And I think that's going to be something interesting in 2024, obviously. So for that reason, I'm throwing this out there. Drew McIntyre and Seth Rollins go to AEW.
You know, I don't think that will happen personally, but I have learned to never say never in pro wrestling because I didn't expect, first off, I didn't expect CM Punk to come back. Didn't expect him to go to AEW. Didn't expect him to go to WWE. Did not expect Jade Cargill to leave for WWE when she did, maybe down the line. Didn't expect Adam Copeland to go to AEW and didn't expect Cody Rhodes, who started AEW, to go to WWE. So the past 2 years have taught me even more, never say never. And I've been covering free agency for quite a long time. It's what made my mark in wrestling reporting. 2024 is the biggest contract year you could argue since 2018, 2019, when AEW was signing people. You could argue then. But if we're talking but beyond that, since maybe 96 or 97, when it was Hall and Nash and people like that moving back and forth, and Bret Hart was a free agent. And even then, you're going to have a lot more that are free agents in 2024 because WWE signed a bunch of people to 5-year deals when AEW started. So that's why I say WWE hits free agency hard.
Ooh. So what do you mean by that?
If they do lose Rollins and Drew, as you think they might, they are going to replace that, and they are going to go get Deanna. They're going to probably get Hammerstone. They're going to get Trinity. They're going to get Mercedes. I think they go out and they spend a lot of money to get people. Okada, maybe. If it depends on what their budget is, but if they lose Drew McIntyre, they are going to replace him with somebody of equal value, like a Mercedes. They'll be like, look, come on over. Let's make this work. So I think WWE is going to open things up. And this wouldn't have been controversial in 2022, but in 2023, it wouldn't have even been controversial for me to say it last year. But they didn't do it this year. They signed a couple people towards the end of the year, middle of the year. They got like Nia, they got Jade. They didn't really bring in a ton of people. In fact, they've had some people that have been under a deal for over a year. So I think that changes this year.
What about from AEW to WWE? Because obviously we know MJF, but are there any other ones that we know of already that are going to be up in 2024? Like, when is Ricky Starks up? Because he's somebody that I could see going to WWE at some point.
He protects that very closely. I've asked him personally a number of times and, won't get an answer out of that. QT Marshall is the one that on January 1st. And obviously he's going to be a guy that every company, whether he wants them to or not, will be interested in him wrestling, training, and front office. That's because he's got an embarrassment of riches for a skill set. And I know a lot of people don't seem to think that on the internet, but it's true. I could see people like Sean Spears, Andrade. I don't know if their deals are up in 2023 or 2024, but I could see if they were, people that have been in WWE prior, maybe making that jump, maybe a Malachi, maybe a Buddy, A lot of people like that have been there before and have that familiarity, but didn't get the push they deserved.
Didn't Malachi do like a 5-year one? Isn't his like till 2027 or something like that? 2026, some crazy year?
So a lot of those deals have option years on them. So they're 3 years base, and then AEW can pick up 4th, 5th year options on them. When Malachi took time off, that was what was intimated to me, was that they were okay with him going home, working indies, etc. And maybe if he didn't want them to pick up the option years, they wouldn't, type of thing, as a goodwill gesture. But that remains to be seen. I don't know the details of his, but I know that Tony Khan was like, we have him under control until then. So if AEW wants to keep him till then, they absolutely can. They do have that right.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, I have one final prediction. This is the last one. And this is a repeat prediction from last year. Because if it happens this year, I'm going to be pissed because I had predicted it the year before. So I'm predicting it again just in case it does happen. And that is Goldberg to AEW.
Okay.
I'm re-predicting this for this year too.
Share with me why you think this year is the year.
Because I thought it was last year too. So I'm going with it again because of what Tony Khan said during one of his press conferences, where he was like, I really like Goldberg. And he was saying how they have a lot in common. And he was really putting over the guy, talking about how they talk a lot. And I'm like, okay, we know that Tony Khan loves to do these little surprises here and there. And let's be real, Sean, how many surprises are there really left for Tony Khan to do? So
that's what everybody always says, though. That's what everybody always says.
True, I get it. But I feel like if he needs one, Goldberg is one that he might have in his back pocket. So for that reason, I'm doing Goldberg. I mean, who thought Ric Flair was going to be in AEW this year?
Yeah, I didn't. But I mean, I thought there was a better chance for Goldberg this year than AEW, than Ric Flair. And I'll, you know what? I'll say that could possibly happen because you just never know. With that, especially with Goldberg, he's still out there at football games spearing people. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable one.
Damn, watch out. All right, well, we'll see what happens this crazy 2024 year. Sean, this was a lot of fun. We do this every year now. It's a tradition. Whether you like it or not, it's a tradition. We're going to keep doing it until you're like, nah, no thanks, whatever. But before we go, let the people know where they can follow you, where they can subscribe, all of that good stuff.
Fightful, we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any platform you can think of. Fightful is on there. You can support our exclusive news reports at FightfulSelect.com. It's just $5 a month for exclusive news delivered to you directly first. You can ask questions on the stories, things you won't get from aggregators or Facebook pages or anything like that. Also, we have over 40 podcasts a month there. And of course, YouTube.com/Fightful.
I'm going to post all of the links in the description box below. And please, guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. What are your crazy 2024 predictions? And are there any that Sean and I mentioned in this video that you would like to see happen? Let us know in the comments section below. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you, everyone. Bye.